So we're going to try this for a second time. Hopefully YouTube and someone doesn't report this for inappropriate content. But we are doing Rate My Teams coming up next. What's up guys, and welcome to JNO United, bringing the best in football news, entertainment and games. And today we're doing Rate My Teams. We've got 4 people's teams today. We're going to rate all of them, and then on Saturday we are live streaming. So if you want your team rated and I haven't rated them yet, join me on the live stream and I'll try and rate as many teams as possible within about an hour period, around about 10 o'clock, maybe 10:15. But I will tweet out trying to get a specific time for that. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe and let's rate some sides. The first team we're going to rate today is the team from Dell Clemens. We're going to do a little bit of a different style for this Rate My Team compared to the last one, because I felt the last one went on a little bit too long. But I'm just going to pick up on the parts that I think I might look at trying to improve. The first thing I'll ask is, if you have Peter Cech, do you need Ben Foster? Your goalkeepers are coming in at about 10 million. And I think that's just a little bit too much to be spending when our budget at the start of the game is only 100 million. Is Peter Cech really the type of goalkeeper you're going to rotate? If you're not going to rotate him, then you might as well have Jakupovic. Otamendi, I would have said he's a good pick initially, but now it's been confirmed that John Stones is going to Manchester City. John Stones fits the type of defender that Pep Guardiola likes. I'm now worried that it's going to be Vincent Kompany and John Stones as the main partnership in that Man City defence. It may not be. He may be looking at John Stones as something for the future, so Otamendi may be the main player this season, and of course Kompany gets injured quite often, at least he did last season. So it's a question mark on that one. I'm not sure if Otamendi's a good pick right now. I might look at someone else just to be sure that in game weeks 1 and 2 you have a starting defender. And as for the midfield, it does feel a little weak of heavy hitters for me. Personally, I'd have liked to see more players in there that I think are going to score big points. Mesut Ozil and Gylfi Sigurdsson, I think both are going to do well this season. So I think you've got some good point scorers there. Milner is underrated, but is he going to play now that they've signed Wijnaldum? I believe Klopp is going to play a 4-2-3-1. And I believe behind the striker is going to be the likes of Coutinho, Firmino, Lallana and Mane. So I think Wijnaldum's probably going to play a deeper role. And that brings up the question, is Milner going to be one of those first choice players? He's been playing at right back or left back in pre-season at times as well. So you're looking at a midfielder that is out of position but kind of in the wrong direction. And then you have 2 Leicester midfielders, and I feel you've not got the best Leicester midfielders there. Drinkwater will get decent points. Gray, if he's playing, and I believe he will rotate most likely with the Polish left mid. I'm not sure they're going to score amazing amount of points this season, and it just feels like you're a bit too reliant on a Leicester midfield there. Maybe look at changing one of them, and also I would prefer to see more attacking option than Drinkwater there. But other than that, I do quite like the side. I can understand why people are going with midfields that have less heavy hitters, because I'm starting to think that I have to have Aguero and Zlatan for the start of the season. Okay, the next team we're rating today is Pierre Rossi, and the very first thing that stands out about your team is Koscielny. Is he going to start? I don't think he will start, but Arsene Wenger's hand may be forced, because as far as I'm aware, Mertesacker and Gabriel won't be available for game week 1, which leaves him with the likes of Holding and Chambers, and he may want a more experienced head in that defence. So Koscielny might play now, but again, I'm not 100% sure he will. So you've got to worry about having an Arsenal defender right now, because even if he is fit enough to play, he may not be fit enough to do well. He'll be with an inexperienced partner in the centre of defence, so Liverpool could potentially score quite a few. They have scored quite a few in pre-season against certain good sides, so I'm not sure Koscielny is a great pick to start with. Don't get me wrong, Koscielny's a great defender, and over the entire season I think he will be a good pick, but I'm not sure you want him right now. Also in defence, Neil Taylor, I'm slightly worried he will be a rotation risk, just because Swansea have quite a few options at right and left back, and I'm not sure that Neil Taylor is nailed on as a first choice player. But if you're a Swansea fan and you've been paying attention to pre-season, make sure to leave in the comments if he is nailed on, just so Pierre Rossi knows. And with the strikers, I can see you've gone for two cheaper options. You've gone for Shane Long and Negredo. I believe Shane Long could be the budget striker that performs like a mid-price striker. If Shane Long is the number one striker for Southampton, I can't see him not getting goals. The only thing is, I would be looking at Redmond as well, because it looks like he wants to play Redmond up front. And if he is playing Redmond up front, then that is a cheap midfielder who's playing up front for a side that could do well this season. So I'd say you need Shane Long or Redmond, one of the two, but I can definitely see why you'd go with Shane Long. As for Negredo, I think it's going to be hit or miss. I know he's been in the Premier League before, but I need to see Middlesbrough and how they attack in competitive games before I want to rely on Negredo or Rhodes. I personally think there's probably safer options than Negredo, but Negredo is a popular choice as a budget striker, so at least you're covered. If he does do well, you won't lose points to other people. Other than that, I quite like the midfield. I can't see anything wrong with the midfield, so if I was you, I might stick with that for the beginning of the season and then improve it as the season goes on. But thank you for sending me your side. Next up is long-time subscriber Thomas McCarthy. Now, I can't see anything wrong personally with your defence and your goalkeepers, but when I look at your midfield, you've got Darren Fletcher and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Now, Darren Fletcher's a decent pick at that price, purely because if you look at last season, he was one of the highest scorers at that price bracket, and he's nailed on, so at least you know you're going to get points. But you've got two of them, which worries me. You've got Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, which again is a cheap midfielder who will, at least I believe he's going to play, but he is not nailed on, and I don't see him scoring lots of points, but it does depend how he plays in that Southampton setup. I would look at trying to improve that midfield, but I can see why you have those two cheap options there, but it just kind of feels like you've only got three good scoring midfielders in that side. As for your strikers, Aguero and Kane, can't say much about that. I mean, if Kane has a really good start to the season, you're going to be laughing because everyone's looking at Aguero and Zlatan. And to be honest, a lot of people are overlooking Tottenham purely because of these signings. Kane is most likely going to be the main man up front for Spurs. Although in the last friendly, I do believe when Vincent Janssen came on, he played just behind Vincent Janssen. So they could maybe bring up a good partnership that could bring even more out of Harry Kane. So I think Harry Kane is a good choice, especially if you're trying to make sure you're above everyone else. Because if Harry Kane has a great start, and I believe Spurs games aren't too bad at the start of the season, then you'll be laughing if Harry Kane's scoring and Zlatan and Aguero aren't. But then you have Fraser Campbell up front, and I just feel like Connor Wickham is going to start unless Crystal Palace get Benteke. And as far as I'm aware, Palace are talking with Benteke right now. So I feel like Fraser Campbell is a wasted pick of a striker there unless you have no plans to actually use him and he's just going to sit on your bench for the first couple of games. And the final team of this episode is FPL United's team. Now in goal, I just look at Valdez and think, is he going to be better than Jakupovic? I know Middlesbrough have a better defensive record, at least from last season as far as I'm aware, but I just feel like you're looking at two sides that are most likely going to be battling against relegation, and I feel like both teams will concede, so I don't see why you're spending 0.5 million more on someone like Valdez when there are players like Ben Foster out there who I think are safer options at the price you've got Valdez at. As far as your defence goes, I'm just not sure about that defensive lineup for Man City. Is the Man City players you've picked going to play? Are other players going to play? They've now got John Stones in. They have good options that they can rotate quite well. So I just worry that going the Man City route without being sure of who's starting is a recipe for failure, and you're going to have one of your cheap defenders come in for someone who doesn't start, and that may not be the fixture you need that cheap defender to come into your side on. As for your midfield, I don't think Granit Xhaka is a good choice as a midfielder. I just feel he's come into that Arsenal side to be that solid defensive rock. So I don't think you're going to get many points from Xhaka. I think there are better options out there. I think he's a good signing, but I just don't think he's going to get FPL points. As far as the midfield, again, it feels light on heavy hitters. But if Fabregas steps up this season, then I believe you have Ericsson, who is usually very consistent, so you could do alright with that midfield. Anyway guys, that is the end of this Rate My Team episode. Remember, if I have not rated your team in the 2 Rate My Team episodes, you can join me live on Saturday around 10 o'clock British time for a live session of Rate My Teams, as well as any news I can pick up about the starting lineups and also the final draft of my side before the deadline. So if you're available, make sure to tune into that. I'll try and interact with as many people as possible that turn up for that live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. I've been JNO, you've been awesome, and remember, it's all about the game.